Hi, my name is Aaron Brock. I'm the Director of Sports Medicine and Performance for USA Volleyball. I'm here with Jeff Jendryk, Olympic athlete from the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. He's going to be my demo for some shoulder warm-up circuits. A lot of times we're going through team warm-ups, and that's a necessary part to practice preparation, max preparation, but we also need to consider individual regions of warm-up prior to our team warm-up. So this is an example of if you have a shoulder that's been stiff, painful, issues in the past, current issues getting loose for practice. This is an example of a hitter's 6 program that you can use to get your shoulder ready for practice. So Jeff, if you could start with number 1, we got to retract, rotate, and reach. So this is 1 of 6. He's going to retract. What we want to feel is right here in the scaps, right here in the back of the shoulder. You can see he's given a nice pinch of his scaps when he pulls back right here. Then he externally rotates, turning on the rotator cuff and giving a nice reach. All right, so those 3 movements, a nice retract, rotation, turning on the cuff, and then reaching up high. Great, so that's good for that one, Jeff. High-low pulls now. So let's get into exactly. So we're going to alternate some pulls. Again, this scapula positioning is the main thing we're looking at here. We don't want this scapula winging up off of the rib cage. We want it nice and flat and connected here with the rib cage. So we're just reaching high with one arm and low with the other, alternating back and forth. Perfect. Let's go external rotation at the side now, Jeff. This is your classic rotator cuff exercise. I think it's really important to get some external rotation in. We already did a little external rotation at the top with that retract, rotate, and reach. Now we're doing it at the side. It just works the rotator cuff a little bit differently. So you see how Jeff isn't hyperextending his low back here. A little tension in the abs is nice. You can lift your sternum up a little bit, but you're not extending back. And if you can get a little space in between your elbow and your side, that's great. Otherwise, we're just getting full range of motion, just like Jeff's doing there. That's a external rotation at the side. And you can do it on your other side. That's right. I think for sure, if you're in a time crunch, you got to do it for your hitting hand, but there's no problem doing it both sides, time permitting. Most of the times you're going to be on a volleyball court, and you can have the net be your anchor. And so right now, Jeff has this at about elbow height, which is where you want it for this exercise. Some of the other ones, you might want to wrap the cord around a higher part of the net, on the pole, on the top rope, maybe even through the net at the top levels. You can adjust the positioning of the band accordingly. So that's number 3. So we had a retract, rotate, and reach as 1. We had a high-low pull 2. We have external rotation at the side 3. Now we're going to do a full can. So a lot of times they talk about empty cans where you're internally rotating. I prefer a full can here. We're going to do this exercise not straight in front, not straight out to the side, but right in the middle. So I will say that you can have a band like this that has a handle on it, a little bit more comfortable to grab, but you don't need a handled band. You can just grab any of elastic band like this and go ahead and step on that. And let's get a full can raise, also called like a scaption raise. And you can go just a little higher, about right there. That's good. And this really isolates your supraspinatus, one of the most important rotator cuff muscles. And I will say, how many reps, how long do you do it? For me, it's hard to say exactly how many reps. What I like to say is, I want you to a fatigue level of like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. I know that's a very subjective thing, but I think that's the best way to determine when to stop doing the exercises. Also, I think 1 set of these 6 exercises is a good brief kind of hit for the shoulder pre-practice. If you're really looking to develop strength, this isn't going to be enough. You need to do probably another set, if not 2 more sets, 3 total sets of 3 exercises with significant, definitely get into the 7 of the 10 scale of fatigue, where for activation just before practice, I think 1 set of a 6 or 7 intensity is good. And you see how Jeff kind of set his shoulders there before he started. Don't round the shoulders. We really want to lift that sternum and roll those shoulders back and have a nice solid posture as you're working through these exercises. So that's number 4. That's a full can raise. Now let's go into our 2 culminating exercises we're doing a hitting pullback and then a hitting accelerator. So we want to focus on the cocking phase of hitting. And so you see how Jeff's pulling that band back, and pull with your elbow a little higher too, Jeff. Reach a little higher. Get that cocking phase in the swing. And you can see he's using mostly shoulder, which is we want. Sometimes people start rotating the trunk, which is actually what you're doing in a cocking phase. So I get why that's, of interest. I think if you're wanting to focus on the shoulder, you're really just trying to draw back, pull back. Now face the other way, Jeff, and let's get an accelerator, a hitting position. And this we're gonna have, you can go a little bit higher. Let's anchor this up a little bit. There you go.
I'm gonna do it.
Great call. So now we're just going to go through the hitting motion. A little bit of a resisted hitting motion. Nice and easy. If there's pain here, we're just trying to kind of lightly work through that to see if we can't loosen up the shoulder. Obviously, if there's significant pain and a diagnosis is needed, you need to talk to your medical provider to maybe hone in these exercises. These are just general examples of some good exercises. This isn't, a tailored program specifically for somebody with their unique shoulder, with their unique, shoulder injury. So he's working through some different shots here. Maybe a little wrist away, maybe a little crossbody, maybe a little high chip and roll. He's just working through some swings. And again, just getting, you can call it 10 reps, but really you're just wanting to get a little bit of fatigue in the muscles. And that's it. So if you have a band, that's a good, quick hitter 6 program that you can use to warm up your shoulder before practice or matches, or use it as a maintenance program for strengthening, but you got to add a little bit more resistance in a couple more sets.